But this is a piece of tech that I've been wanting to figure out for a really long time. And that was, the hardest part about having a podcast, et cetera, is making sure that people can see it. And so you do the thing, you record the thing, or whether it's, your master class, that second lead magnet or whatever. The hardest part is like getting people to see it. So for the last, I'd say 2 years, I had worked all of these different things trying to find a way to be able to easily like take segments from my live streams and get them posted online in some kind of a timely fashion. So in the past, I was doing it myself. It ended up that the quickest way was just going to be me going in raw, like immediately after shooting a podcast to just record a quick reel because it was easier than going through and grabbing all of the videos and stuff like that. But it was just extra work. And a lot of times, like what I was saying in the moment is really what I wanted for that. Then I hired a video editor to help me do it. And it was just really, it just took a really long time. Basically, I'd have recordings that I could use like 2 days before the next podcast was slated to go out. But I just learned about being, oops, I'm not even doing this on Substack. That's fine. I just learned that if you go live on Substack, that they, at the end of your call, will send you like 28 different clips that you can use. And, you have to still go through and shine them up a little bit. And probably for me, I will not be able to use them because they're watermarked, but I can at least take that segment and put a couple images or whatever on top of it and still be able to use it in that way. For the projectors in the house, I think that Substack is such a good platform for you because it builds in like an assistant for you. Every time you make a post, it's like, hey, I made you a graphic that you can put on social media. I emailed this to your followers if this is something that you want. It's really worth it. And I was resistant for a long time about like importing my contacts into Substack, but I do actually love it for that. Email deliverability is always something you're kind of navigating as a business owner, and Google's constantly rolling out different ways to make your inbox more organized, but it makes it harder for people to reach you. So that. Anyways, you will love this platform. Today is a Q&A on Safe House, but I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about my history with politics. I got really into politics when I was new to the US. I was a punk. I fell in, as you guys know, punks are very political. Did my protesting, got kicked out of school for making shirts that said save a tree, kill a bush, was very swept up in all of that. My, it, I was very surprised when I went to one of my punk friends' house and realized like how rich they were. This was an Encinitas, California thing, but it wasn't everybody. And it was really my people, like punk. That was the first time that I kind of felt like I had found a group. I got into it because it was the only group that I could afford to look like. I very briefly went to a public high school and did really badly, but it was Southern California. I think it was maybe 2002 or 2003, and I just couldn't. Um, and I still to this day like get the ick so hard from California. I am just a definitive East Coast girly. But I know everything that's happening politically. That doesn't mean I know, exactly what's going on, but I see everything. I'm aware of everything. Me not commenting on certain things is, or me not commenting on anything actually, is very intentional. And that's because I'm here to be a spiritual teacher. I'm here to show you that the path of the spiritual teacher is the path of neutrality. And if you ever thought having an opinion on social media would get you into trouble, people are like much more hostile when you're being neutral. I'm not saying that people are being hostile with me because if they are, I don't know about it. I don't have an offer. I don't have somewhere where I can go to see if people are mad at me or not. I just don't go. As far as I'm concerned, everybody's very happy with what it is that I'm doing. But I see it happening a lot online that people feel very pressured to speak up or to not speak up if they're not going to speak up about like these specific projects. And you never want to have a gag order on yourself for any reason whatsoever. If there's ever a time where you're like, it is not a good time for me to speak up, even though I want to. I'm not allowed, and not about speak up about this issue or that issue, whatever the fuck you want to talk about. If you're like, it's not the right time for me to speak because of my race, it's not the right time for me to speak because it's just this. If there is a moment where you're really excited about sharing something with the world and you're not because you're telling yourself that this isn't, you're not allowed to for whatever reason, this is something that you're going to want to rectify because there's always going to be more of this. There's always going to be an opportunity to censor yourself. And the issue isn't with what you're saying, the issue is with this absolute belief that you have to censor yourself. And I am learning this like over and over and over again. For example, when I was sick, my husband, we were all so fucking sick, but I was very annoyed with my husband and I wanted to crack a joke about jujitsu that represented a level of my annoyance. And I didn't because I was like, he's going to take this so bad and it's not very loving. So instead, I like assembled this very synthetic apology and I drop you guys know when you're the bigger person and you go to apologize. And the person is like, thanks, I really appreciate that. I really deserve that. And it's like, fuck you, actually. Fuck you. Like, and I've never said fuck you to my husband, and I never will. But like, fuck you, dude. No, like, I'm only saying sorry so that you will say sorry to me because you've been a fucking cunty hook at me all day, and I have every reason to be pissed at you right now. But I was really trying to, soften myself down and be like trademark loving and caring wife like, and it ended up being this thing that I had to do like 30 minutes of my big guns inner work on to not go down there and tear him a fucking new asshole and be like, actually, I'm not sorry because I'm very good at doing that. Because my husband's really good at taking the apology and walking away. My husband also is a water sign, so like how he feels or what he feels he did is the truth versus anything that happened. And he has a tendency to recollect entire conversations and things that he told me that never left his mouth. He's like, I came upstairs and told you I love you. When my husband dropped me off at the airport to go to the soft white underbelly video, he gave me a big hug. He goes, I love you so much. And I cried all the way through the fucking airport because my husband never says, I love you to me. That I could recall, I had never heard him. Now, does he show me his love literally all the time? Yeah, he's here 24/7, 365. We're best friends. Don't be concerned about our relationship. You've got actual problems. But I had some lady ask me why I was crying in the airport. I was like pregnant, right? A lady asked me if I was crying in the airport. I couldn't tell her, oh, my husband told me he loved me for the first time. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna miss my husband so much. Lol. But he doesn't use these. So the way that he recollects things versus like what actually happened can sometimes be quite a divide. But he, so I didn't want to tell him this joke, and I ended up having to do all of this fucking inner work on it, which was fine. I set myself back to normal and everything. I was able to clean up the mess, and I didn't go start a fresh fight at a time when our family like really couldn't, handle that. My husband's also with water signs, like if you pee in a glass of water, you can't drain a little bit out. If you pee in the bath, I'll just sit in it anyway. I drank my own pee for 6 months. I literally don't give a pee, doesn't scare me anymore. But if you fucking shit in a bathtub, you can't drain a little bit of the water out and then put more water in and say it's a nice clean bathtub now. You can't do that. With water signs, like all the water has to drain out, which gives it space. And then the whole thing has to be cleaned out before you can attempt to start resolving the situation. You can't just pour a little bit of new water in and say like, all better, right? So it's like a slow process of acknowledging what hurt and how you feel about and reorienting and all of this stuff. But I could have avoided all of this if I just told my husband the fucking joke. Why are men so good at jujitsu? Because they find a way to get out of doing literally everything. So great. That was my big joke. And he actually thought it was funny the next day. The issue wasn't with what I was saying. The issue, the real problem, is the need to censor myself and say, I'm not allowed to speak up on this for this reason, that reason, that reason. Now, anytime, and it's what's interesting, this is a block of the heart chakra. So it works in both ways. So you might be saying it's not a good time for me to talk right now, or it's not a good time for me not to talk right now. I have to talk more. I have to put myself out there more. I need to say what people want me to say. It goes in both directions, either forcing or holding back. Repeat these words after me. No forcing and no holding back. No forcing and no holding back. This is what it means to be in flow with work, in flow with your message, in flow with your sexual energy. In flow means no forcing and no holding back, the way it is with children, the way it is with water, the way it is with nature. No forcing and no holding back. If you are out of integrity in here, then your two options of operation either become forcing and speaking on what other people are telling you have to speak on, the pressure that you feel, using your sacred voice, your one voice to be a mouthpiece for someone or something else, forcing it for attention and for approval. Anytime you are doing something for attention or approval, you have issues in your heart that you are making worse with this behavior. No amount of approval is going to fix it. It's only going to make it worse. No amount of attention is going to fix it. It's going to make it worse. You have an inauthenticity problem. If we veer to the other side, holding back, you are doing this either for attention or please don't pay attention to me, shrinking. Same, two sides of the same coin. Two sides of the same coin. Two sides of the same coin. The goal is to just get rid of the coin altogether. Or for approval. People are going to be so proud of me for doing this right now. Same issues in your heart that you are making worse. Now, I've been teaching authenticity and I've been modeling authenticity for a very long time. And there are still layers of this that I discover in myself every single day. For example, I want my husband to approve of me and not think that I'm a massive cunt. Maybe I am a massive cunt. I don't care. I'm not any one thing all the time except real. But when I'm like, I need to, it's been a spicy day today. I need to call in the carefully crafted, endlessly, the everlasting cup, the loving wife. Oh, la, 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 la. Do whatever you want. Let me hand you the baby so I can take a bath. Bring her back 5 minutes later and tell me you tried. Fuck off. Get out of this bathroom right now and take that baby with you. And don't come back here for an hour and be gone for a very long time. I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. We can't have that. We can't have that. And we certainly can't crack a little joke about this. No, 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 no. It's not that it's good. It's not that it's bad. It's not that it's right. It's not that it's wrong. It's that it's inauthentic. The amount of time that it would have just taken me to be myself and stay in flow and get what I wanted, literally fucking 2 minutes. What did it actually take? Inner work. thinking about something, rehashing about something, having to do verbal processing, having to figure this stuff out. A whole night of being in conflict because my husband felt like he said sorry, but he actually didn't say anything until like noon the next day. So, and I'm like, oh my God, we're really in a fight now because I said sorry and he's fucking taking it and running with it. The issue is not with what you say, it's this really big block of feeling like you have to censor yourself. Like you can't say what it is that you want to say. And like, I have so much that I could say about this political situation, but the only thing I would really even want to tell people is like, listen, all politics are black magic. All politics are pageantry. Trump is making this huge pageant out of ICE on purpose. They've literally grabbed like 3,000 illegal people. That's really not that much money that the government is being saved. Like that it's costing way more to get these people out. That's going to be way more in lawsuits for all of the shit that's gone wrong, including, you know, 2 murders. It doesn't matter in a court of law. Like you wouldn't say, oh, they say, you know, involuntary manslaughter, but it's still manslaughter. Fine. Maybe they didn't mean to kill both of these people, but they did on camera. Not good. But Trump is all about the show. And you guys have known this for like a really long time. You guys know that Trump is a showman, right? He doesn't care about like that. He's never been, nobody has ever said, wow, this guy really knows his stats and data. He's like, she's ugly. You know? Like he's a showman. He's a Gemini. Like he's not somebody, you don't go to this guy to get your facts straight. It's just that he's a literal like showman and he works people up. People do not care about the data. They don't care about the data whatsoever. They care about how you make them feel. People don't remember what you say. They don't remember what you say. They care about how you made them feel. Trump is really good at making people feel things. But there's 3 main countries that run the whole world. The top 3 are the US, Russia, and China, with the UK long old influence right around there as well. No offense to anybody in the UK, but a lot of pull they have. But Russia, very strong leader. China, very strong leader. Joe Biden, not a strong leader. Donald Trump cares about being a very strong leader. And very strong leaders, it's not like, oh, you want to see how much I can bench press? Like none of that shit matters. It's a show of force. So this whole thing in Minneapolis is a show of force. And for it's like, he's not, if it's about the show, he's not going to say, all right, me, president of the United States, you, governor, mayor, some random judge somewhere, you person with a Twitter account, you online poet, told me no, and I'm going to listen to you. It's a show of force. I will not be, no way we're backing down. You come for me, I come for you. If you think for 1 second that this guy is going to let himself appear weak in any capacity, especially on an issue that he's like, he's always made a really big show out of this. I'm going to build a wall. I'm going to do this. Now, protests have never stopped anything, but protests are also a show of force. So it's totally fine that these things are happening. You stand up to me, I'm going to stand up to you. This is not going to end anything. This is not going to solve anything. It's just a show of force from one side and the other side saying we resist, and great. And this is all what we have seen. Everybody knows that the country's divided. Because the country has literally, all countries are divided. This party, that party, it's always been this way. But here's just like a broader perspective. And something that I really like about learning investing is that having a neutral mindset and being able to see opportunity and disaster. People that are really experienced investors do not have strong political leanings that get in the way of their ability to do their job. They might have this person that they like, but they're holding assets for people with all different, on all different political grounds. But people that have a lot of money tied up in stock markets or literally anything else, everything has an impact somewhere else. So, for example, this whole chaos that's going on with Venezuela will, if it goes the way that Trump wants it to go, will stabilize the US dollar, which is really good for our economy. That would bring the gold prices down as the dollar gets stronger. Crypto has a tendency to follow the dollar and gold thing. So you could actually, you're like, wow, if I take all the drama out of it and I just look at it objectively, it's like this, there could be some really interesting investment opportunities coming up here. Interesting. Also, one of the worst, when Trump's talking about Greenland and all this stuff, I don't even know where Greenland is. So I have literally nothing. I'm not going to force something and I'm not going to hold back, but I literally just don't know. But what I can say is that like everybody's always been concerned about like Russia and the US going to war. This has been a thing for a long time, or China, these top three. And it's, everybody's like, oh, well, what if the US stops being what if the dollar stops being the main currency? The US isn't going to go from being number one to like being fucking like Lithuania or something. It's going to fall to the number two or number three position. It's no problem. There's always a changing order where someone else comes out on top. Personally, I think it's going to be China, but what the fuck do I know? Let's watch and see with our eyes completely open. But the fact that Trump is like a very strong, he uses force. He just uses force, and that's very impressive to Putin. Trump and Putin really like each other and they really respect each other. And that's because Trump operates out of the Putin playbook all the time. And imitation is the highest form of flattery that mediocrity can pay to greatness. That's the full quote. I'm not saying that Putin's great. What I am saying is that Russian people weirdly love Putin. And it took me a long time to figure that out because I was like, how will I know if this information is legit? And then I just talked to like as many Russian people as I can talk to. But the fact that Trump and Putin respect each other and get along is always going to work out good for America. So if you're afraid of war or, oh my God, is Trump going to start World War III? The US and Russia are going to be homies. So, at the very least, if you're worried about war, maybe that might alleviate your mind a little bit. The thing is that there's always going to be something to worry about. And in the Tao Te Ching, they say, like, must we fear what others fear? Must we fear what others fear? You don't have to be afraid of anything. And when you're afraid, stupid things start to seem like really good ideas. So when I'm afraid of the US, when I'm afraid about like what's going on in the world, and oh my God, you guys, I have to tell you like one more thing. It was like kind of like funny. But when I'm afraid of what's going on in the world, I'm like, vamos a Mexico. That's it. I'm leaving. Like, I'm out of here. I'm fucking moving my kids somewhere else. I made a commitment for my own sanity and mental health after having a pretty bad time traveling last year. I'm like, I'm not doing any flights in 2026. I'm doing a garden. That's it. That's all I'm working on. That goes right out the window when I feel like I'm forced to move. The things that I want to focus on, gardening, my home, investing, all this shit goes right out the window. And I end up spending a year doing things I don't want to do because fear told me I had to do it. And a lot of times it's not my fear whatsoever. I see that other people are panicking and I'm like, should I be doing this too? There's always, as our lives become more and more online, you're going to be invited over and over again to comment on or immerse yourself in or get involved in things that don't interest you and don't touch you. And it's okay for things to not interest you, and it's okay for things to not touch you. And if you are being touched by it and you are interested in it, it's okay to go towards that because it's not going to feel draining to you. But if it feels draining to you, it doesn't care about you. This machine doesn't care about you. And you need to ask yourself really deeply, am I doing this for approval? Am I doing this because I don't know who I would be without this struggle? Am I doing this because I'm afraid that if I'm not in this fighting somebody else's war, that I'm going to be left alone? And you need to look at all that stuff because those are the real problems. But somebody that I was following had put something up online that was like, for spiritual people, it is so tempting to just like look away and to not want to actually like look at what's going on and really feel the pain of all of it. Feeling the pain of all of it is either sympathy or empathy, which are lower versions of compassion. Compassion is being able to look at something really, really deeply and not look away from it, but understand that there's bigger things at work, and that like if you can't keep your room clean, it's pretty rich to think that you know how to run a country, or that you know how to run the world or the universe. Like, that's kind of a reach, honestly. I have no idea how to stabilize the US dollar. I don't even know how to tell when the US dollar is unstable. I'm very happy that somebody else, I'm a really bad liar. I'd be a terrible politician. I'm so happy that I'm not a politician. This is a pretty gruesome work schedule too, and a lot of them don't get paid for that, or nothing compared to what they were making before. I'm happy that this isn't my calling. I'm happy that it's other people's callings. I understand that these things are necessary. I'm going to look at this in 1 second, Erica. But this lady had posted, and she was like, she's like, but now, like, she's in New York. I have to admit that like this is happening in our own backyard. Like when I think in Minneapolis, like we have, well, our nanny, who thank God is documented, just lives in fear all the time. And I was like, homie, this is not in your backyard, because you can't think of anybody that you know in Minneapolis, and that's okay. And your nanny is not an illegal alien. Your nanny is documented and she's living in fear, yes, because anybody can choose to live in fear, yes or no. But it's okay for something to not be touching you. You do not have to issue a statement. And it's okay for things to touch you as well. And it's okay to be looking at something and say, this is really fucked up and I have no idea what to do about it. And to just accept, I have no idea what to do about it, and not let that deplete you. I don't know what to do about it. Maybe there's nothing I can do about it. One thing I do know, if you're looking at who's to blame, that's just a byproduct of not wanting to accept that you can't control this. You can't control it. You can't control it. You can't control it. You can't control this. You can't control this. You can't. It's not possible. You cannot control this. And everybody knows that protests are great for a show of force, the same way that ICE is great for a show of force. Look at the numbers. They're not moving all that much. All this chaos, this anger, this scariness, this masks, this fucking taking children, like all of this is exactly the optics that Trump has chosen and wants and likes to not just broadcast to this country, but to the whole world. I got fucking balls, and you should be afraid of me. And you should be afraid of me. That's what powerful people, that's what world leaders do. And honestly, from a personal standpoint, I I don't really, if somebody's going to be running the country, I definitely want them to be not someone that other people think that they can push around. Because I don't know how this whole thing works, but it's all scary. I don't even know how the military makes money. Anyways, I'm going to answer this one question over here, and then we're going to do some actual questions. Now, something that I love and something that I see a little peek at over here on Instagram is people's facts. So someone over here says Soros was sending the caravan since Trump's first term. None of you guys know any facts. None of you know any facts. There's things that you have deduced personally, and there's things that you've read on the internet. But just because you read it on the internet 10 times doesn't make it true. I don't care if you watch the video. Everybody in the whole world watched the video, and half the world saw one thing and half the world saw another thing. Do you know why this is? It's the concept of something called magnetic center, and that is on the inside of you a magnet that pulls out certain pieces of information based on what it is that you're searching for. Now, ideally, you would refine this over time. When your ultimate goal is growth and waking up spiritually, it would attract teachers of a high caliber to you who can show you the way. Until that's developed and attuned towards the right thing, I want growth above all. I want growth more than being right. Please show me the way. It's kind of like your magnetic center says spaghetti. And so when you open the cupboard, all you're seeing, because I'm going to make spaghetti, is the noodles and the tomato sauce. You're not seeing everything else that's in there because your intention is spaghetti. But none of you guys know any facts. Like Soros did this, they're funding this, she did this, blah, blah, blah. And all of this stuff just like spreads like wildfire too, but it's not truth. Information is not education. Information is not like this, like research. Like I've been like, oh, make sure you do your own research. Telling somebody, oh, you do your own research, put this exact term into Google. Is there a blood eating cult? And then they get like fucking 15 search results. Like that's not, you can find evidence for anything. But in this day and age of so much information, for the most part, it's exhausting you. For the most part, it's leading you to have less close friendships and less connection and be more paranoid and be more angry and be more reactive and all of the things that make you very useless to yourself and a very useful tiny cog in a machine that doesn't care about you. I don't care about what you read in the news, and I don't care about what you read about off the news. Is this feeding you? Are you growing? But I think that it's nothing kind of reinforces what I've been telling you guys and believing and preaching for so long about the connection between like advancing your spiritual practice and wealth advancing. I've spent all of this time developing neutrality, developing impartiality, not liking one side more than another, being willing to see them both playing the game and saying, I'm totally cool with this. I don't need this to stop. I don't need the internet to be kind, and I don't need there to be peace on earth because I understand that earth was not designed to be peaceful. Earth is always going to be in conflict. That's what earth is. Earth is mixtus orbi, the mixed rule of good and evil. This constant tug of war. It's the Super Bowl. I don't need the Super Bowl to stop happening. I don't need to pretend that the Super Bowl is not happening. I don't need people to stop protesting. I don't need ICE to stop raiding. I understand that this is what happens on earth, that this has always been what happens on earth, that one door closes and another one opens, that powers switch places, that the fucking Republicans are in power for 4 years and we're going to do all this. And then the Democrats are in power and they take it all down. And then the Republicans go and take down what the Democrats built. And then the Democrats take down what the Republicans built. And it just goes on and on and on and on and on. I don't need this to change. I don't need you to agree with me. I don't need anything to be different. I like it the way that it is. But I fucking know what it's like to not be able to move one goddamn inch forward until the world changes and everybody likes what I have to say. And guess what? I stayed right fucking there from age 15 to age 28 until my boyfriend died and I couldn't take it anymore. And something that I love is that all of these credits that I've racked up in neutrality and impartiality and not giving a shit if you don't like it, not giving a shit if I'm not saying what you want me to say, not giving a shit if you're disappointed in this take. I don't think about your approval of me at all. I don't care. But all of these credits roll over into investing because investing is like, great, you have a neutral perspective. You're going to be great at this. Just because the market goes like this, you don't go like this, you're going to be great at this. Oh, you don't panic because of stuff you read on the internet? Great. You see opportunity and disaster? Great. You're going to be great at this. And I just love that. I love seeing the connection between spirituality and wealth because the connection's always been there. And I love it. All right, let me go over into our chat so we can start pulling some questions. I'm going to look. There was someone that said something interesting in our chat on Zoom, and I want to see. And what did she say? Something about not being, for me, here it is. For me, it's like not trusting my own judgment. Like I think I'm doing enough and being a good person, but then I wonder if other people's judgments about what I'm doing is more accurate than my own. Anytime we're doing something for attention or approval, it's the same thing. It's pointing at a much bigger problem, the real problem on the inside. I wonder if other people's judgments about me are smarter than my own. I wonder if complete strangers riddled with as many problems and issues as me know me better than I know me. That literally anybody could probably drive my life better than me. This is a big problem. But the recipe for authenticity, and guys, I'm so excited. When Fuckless starts, I wish we could start tomorrow. But May 1st is when we're starting. You have to know yourself, white line of magic, get to know yourself, black line of magic, come to trust yourself. You cannot trust yourself if you don't know yourself. Trust who? There's nobody there. Know yourself well enough to trust yourself, and only then can you be yourself and know that that's enough. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to be myself. You don't know who the fuck that is. Be some different version of yourself. I'm going to be the truly loving version of myself. Who you are is different than everybody else. Who you are doesn't behave like everybody else. That's what makes you you. There is only one thing you can be that everyone will think is really, really cool, and that is real. You might like it, you might not like it, but if it's real, nobody can argue with real. And this has always been true. But in the age of AI, where so much of this slop, and it's so, you can taste it right away. But what's worse is when you can't taste it. It took me a while to figure out that this Substack that I really liked that just kind of talked mean to me, listen up, girl, you got to work out, that type of shit. I was like, oh, it's AI. I only found out when this person was turning out like masterpieces every 2 days, and I'm really happy I found out because I do not want AI to be yelling at me to work out. What do you know? You don't have a body. Fuck off. All right, let's get some questions in. So if you guys are new here, anyone on live, my name's Mommy Onami. You can call me Onami. My job is running a esoteric business school. And this esoteric business school is called Safe House. And on Safe House, people do workshops with me. Some of them are live and some of them are not. And we supplement all of these workshops with Q&A every single Wednesday and onboarding, which I'm actually going to be taking over the live side of. Excited to show you guys that on Tuesday. It's like guidance counseling where I can help you find what workshop is right for you. Let me just make sure I've got, what date was last date? That was the 22nd, where I can show you which workshops are right for you. And I love this. I've been doing this particular school since 2022, but we had a different version of it before. But it's a harmony of all of our workshops together. Enrollment is available in May. And that's what I'm going to say about that. So if you guys are like, wait, I want to ask you a question, you have to be a student to ask me a question. That's one boundary. We're all more than happy to share me with you here live, but the attention is for my students. And so if you would like to ask a question, consider becoming a student. Right now, we are launching Science of Sales. And then after that, we'll be launching Wheels Reinvented. And then we'll be doing Fuckless, which is a 40-day practice on authenticity and social media. All right, let me chug this big espresso. Oh, he put milk and sugar in it. Thank you, Dad. Yay. Nothing makes me feel like I'm dying faster than black coffee. It's like, I feel like I'm drinking the desert. I feel like I'm aging so fast. So these are questions from last week. I'm looking for these ones here. Okay. Okay, I heard you loud and clear. Good. Every time I do ritual, I get a download that I need to be speaking about my life and experiences. I'm 29 and a lot of the valuable experiences that I want to share involve my in-laws. Is it okay to start publicly speaking about my story without using names when there's a larger audience currently that will know exactly who I'm talking about? This is tricky. It's welcome to the life of a writer. The first thing I'm going to tell you is only share your story. Does your story touch other people? Yeah, like my story of being a daughter, my story of being a sister, my story of being a wife, like all of these things are my story, but I have to really watch myself when I start talking because it's tempting for me to try to explain this is why my mom acted like this or this is why my brother acted like this when I don't know and I don't need to know. I can assume that this is why these people acted that way, but I don't know for sure and that's not my story to tell, no matter how much context it provides. The next thing is, are you sharing your mess or your message? Your mess is what comes out when you write in your journal. Your mess is what comes out when you write in feelings room. And the message is the pearl of wisdom that surfaces through that processing. We're going to be doing a lot of EFT and Fuckless that starts on May 1st to help you really get that message that you're meant to share today, how to go looking for that message and put it out in the world. The message very rarely involves needing to talk about in-laws or anyone else. Now, if it's always addressed to the group, if you're speaking to the group, then yes, people will definitely say, oh, I felt like you were talking to me there. Was that alluding to me? But very few people will ever actually reach out and say that. And deal with cross that bridge when you actually get to it. But something that I'm going to have you do, especially if you're new to sharing, don't make a Brooklyn Beckham fucking Parmigiano bowl out of it. What you want to do is practice telling the story a couple times first. Offload it in feelings room where you can do it anonymously. Offload it onto Reddit where you can do it anonymously. Offload these things in places where it's not going to get back to everybody. The story is going to get more and more compressed and the message will make itself more clear. And don't forget that like mess plus age is message. So it will get there with time. I get a lot of guilt around spending money on big trips, expensive items, and even living in the city in a nice flat. I get it. The guilt is linked to my family, and I'm not sure why. Well, yeah, you know why. I feel guilty spending it or the thought of having more than them and slightly ashamed about it too. I'm not sure to take to clear this. I've done emotional work on the topic, but I just realized that it lingers, especially around money. Yes, you have money because of your actions, and your family doesn't because of their actions. And I understand that it can feel heavy I understand that it can feel heavy to be living so nicely when your family is not. But guilt, from the definition that they use in the grief recovery handbook, the definition changes sometimes in the actual dictionary, but it's remorse over the intent to harm. Now, have you intended to harm anybody? Did you mean to hurt anybody by being wealthy? Do you know that you're hurting anybody by being wealthy? No. If you did not intend to harm somebody, change the behavior. If there's something that is making you feel guilty over and over and over again, for example, drinking, you can change that behavior. But if guilt is just showing up to poison that first class ticket of yours, you can just throw it away. And the best way to do this is to just acknowledge and name, like, I'm feeling a lot of guilt right now. I feel really guilty about this right now. And separating, I am guilty, I've done something wrong, with I'm feeling guilty. This is a feeling that's moving through me right now. I understand that I'm feeling guilty. I understand why I'm feeling guilty, but I want you to imagine it like a big sheet of tinfoil, crunch it up, and throw it away. What if it is true that money is running out? So, can you absolutely know that it's true that money is running out? You should definitely do something about it, especially since you have two business plans that you're working with right now. But if it feels terrible, it's probably not true. Like, money isn't if you were to just move forward with this one, because she's talking about doing the work of Byron Katie, and you turn this around, money isn't running out. I'm running out on money. Money isn't running out on me. I'm running out on money. How is that true? You're not doing what you know you need to do to support yourself, and who the fuck knows why you're waiting so long. You're running out on money. Money says, hey, I thought we had a good thing going here. You show up for me, I show up for you. And you say, oh no, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm studying spirituality now. It's all going to be different for me. Yeah, it is going to be different for you. You're not going to have any money. Go to work. Get to work right now. Do the fucking thing. If you're launching that cleaning business, fucking do it already. Where are the flyers at the grocery store? You have all your supplies. This should not take long. You would literally get a job within one fucking week if you took it seriously. You've got to stop being so proud of yourself for doing the bare minimum. Okay, well, I thought about doing something today. No, actually do the thing. I'm giving myself 1 week to have 3 clients that are going to bring in an additional $800 for me every single week. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm not stopping until I do it. You got to get into this, like, fuck the universe mode. Fuck the universe. Fine, I'm doing it by myself. Fuck the universe. Write myself a little note to make my annual fuck the universe video. And it is annual. F the universe. I have, like, no shit, like 400 videos to teach today, or to shoot today. Hello, Substack. Oh, let's see. What is the Lakota Lodge Jesus song in your Secret Sessions lecture about past lives and fourth way? I absolutely love that song, but it gives me the heebie-jeebies so hard, because when Native Americans sing about Jesus, it's like the full indoctrination wheel. But I like to tell myself that those particular Lodge songs are coming from a time where they had to hide their religion, and so they're not meaning the words at all. You are the only one. You are the only one way. Hey, that fucking album reminds me so much of New Mexico. I'll cry. That is the album Walk in Beauty by Verdell Primo. It's Verdell. new word, Primeaux. That is the album Walk in Beauty, and that song is called You Are the Only One, and it is so beautiful. I love Lodge songs for grief work. You probably already got this, but one of the homeworks for 2026 was human design, find your Jupiter. That's It wasn't on the 2026 one. It was on the 2025 one. I know because I looked through all the. Is it pretty typical that when you're teaching a course and you're on the black line of magic, life get challenging for you? Yes, of course. Of course. But we talked about this so much. Black line of magic is when you go through all your fear. So the black line of magic is the middle third of every objective journey. And it's just tough. Tips for content creators. What mic are you using? Is everything shot on your phone? Any lighting console? So I just have to niche down on one thing. This is going to be something I go so hard on when we start teaching fuckless, but like stop thinking of yourself as a content creator. Content creator goes up when content goes up and down when content goes down. Like you're a teacher, you're providing a service, you're a storyteller. You're not a content creator. Making content is an aspect of these larger things that you're doing and these bigger problems that you're solving, but you're not a content creator. I am using a Rode mic, which I super recommend. It took me a while to find this one. Super easy to use, super like can't fuck it up. I always try and have the freshest iPhone available and natural light always. How to price one-on-one work if you've never paid for one-on-one coaching to know what it costs. How can you expect people to pay you for an industry that you don't see as valuable to invest in? Like how? How can you tell people to invest in something that you don't think is worth investing in? And I'm sure you don't have money to invest in coaching, but what makes you think that other people do? When you work with another coach, you see like, oh, I could do this actually. I could do it. And there's so much that you can copy and paste from what you've learned with them, but just sell something that you feel good about, even if it's just like one session. Hey, Dad, I can't handle the sound of that baby crying. I'm going to give her some boob and have my husband ask some questions for me. Daddy, how about I how about I nurse that baby and you answer a few questions for me? He's just such a sad baby. She's still sick, so I feel bad. Have a little, sweetheart. I can tell by the sound of your cry. You have to no amount of rearranging your bio and finding your pricing is going to make you feel confident about something you don't feel confident in. Not one little red rousing bit. Not one little red rousing bit. Do me a favor, Piggy Paw. Hi. You're a sad little baby. Do me a favor. I'm answering some questions right here on this laptop. Can you scroll all the way down to the newest ones for me, please? You need to create an offer that you can feel good about. And if that's just a single session, hey, here's a $300 session. I have paid for something like that. Here's a 150 session. All the way to the bottom, please, my love. Yeah, thank you. Everybody, say hello to my husband. He's a very nice man. Yes. Okay. Come here. Come here. Come here. Read me that question, pig law. Sure. Or pick me some questions. Pick me. Yeah. You are the only one.
Lack of confidence, imposters, blocked expression, can't speak, speaking, throat closes.
Well, we're just gonna have to try again. I'm sorry. I tried. I'll try and wrap this up in about 10 minutes. I'm sorry. Take her for some fresh air. It's an air sign. She's an air sign. Okay, so launched a group program. I'll get this one in a second, Mishka. I launched a group program. 8 people signed up, and only one is participating in the group or showing up live. What went wrong with my launch? Nothing launched. I mean, nothing went wrong with it. But maybe they can't attend live. Like not everybody can attend live. And this is a really key thing that is going to be super useful for you, especially as a reflector, is like, hey, our replay game is really strong. Don't worry. You don't have to show up for all of the live things. Don't worry. It's going to be okay. Because it's a lot for people to show up live on your schedule. So you can definitely figure this out. So if you have a limitation of a lack of confidence, it looks like you're either going to do it with a lack of confidence or you're just not going to do it. If you're not going to do it until you become confident, you're basically accepting that there is no money that's going to be coming in for you until about maybe, I don't know, June. If you get real serious and fuckless in May and start doing and start actually like doing the thing. But I think that you should learn how to just do it with a lack of confidence then. Don't forget that confidence and imposter syndrome, like all these things come from you being out of your wheelhouse. You're a projector. You're not good at everything, but you're really good at some things. And you can nerd the fuck out on these things that you're really, really good at. But you don't need to spread yourself into industries and spread yourself into lanes that are not your lane. You don't need to do that, not for anybody's approval. Limitation, I'm addicted to the urgency of getting things done last minute. Fine, then you're going to get it done at the last minute. Basically, with every limitation, this is something that we're working on in Ritual. With basically every limitation that you have, it's going to be a situation like, fine, okay, you're going to do it with no time. I just can't do it with my kids. Okay, well, you're going to find a way to do it with your kids. I don't know how to build a business that works with parenting. Bring the kids has been running through my head since Redline, but how? I want intergenerational spaces, not kids on a screen in the corner and adults waiting at the edge of class. Yeah, I'm sure you don't, but there's something really beautiful. You have two options. You can either run two classes simultaneously, you and a friend do it together, you teaching the adults and them teaching the kids. Or you can say, I don't really feel like collaborating with somebody else. Therefore, I'm going to put my guilt down and allow them to do whatever they got to do. Or I'm going to teach mommy and me classes. How do you attract clients that are ready to work and take action rather than talk about how they just don't feel ready yet? I don't have spaces where people can talk to me about how they don't feel ready yet. There's nowhere where somebody can talk to me about how they don't feel ready yet. They have to pay me to have the opportunity to talk to me like that. So maybe if they, it's maybe they have to pay to talk to you. And I think that a lot of really, if you were, oh, you know what, I need to, let me, so I remember to get this from the video, or maybe let's see if Substack AI does this. How do you attract clients that are ready to work and take action rather than talk about how they don't feel ready yet? So if you are doing a sales funnel, and you're using the method that we showed you how to do in Science of Sales, which you can go and see that masterclass right on my YouTube. There's a little 7-minute version, and if you need it blown up where you can really understand each piece, the full version is on there as well. But that second lead magnet for a one-on-one funnel is going to be a call with you. Now, all throughout that sales funnel, you're teasing people, hey, this is coming up, this is coming up, this is coming up, this call with me. But you can charge for that call. Even if it's $50, it will weed out the person that says, I'm just not ready yet. And then you can go really hard in that call because they've paid to be there and you're providing a service and they can see what it is that you offer. And if you're like, yeah, but is it going to be weird for somebody paying $50 for a call and then it jumps up to whatever my coaching package is? No. But you're just filtering out that it's a lot weirder for them to be able to get somebody that charges $5,000 for a coaching package on the phone for free. So no, filter them out. I don't have anywhere where somebody can complain to me. There's not one place where somebody can complain to me. I mean, I guess they could complain in Q&A, but that doesn't work because I won't read it. That's why we have feelings room for complaining next Q&A. I still don't know what my offering is. This is not going to work for you, Kelly. This is not going to work for you if you don't know what your offer is. So let's figure this out. White line of magic. What's for sale? How many need to be sold? I should have gotten this issue from you at the black line of magic. All of this can be solved in those first like 4 days of ritual. What's for sale? How many need to be sold? You don't know what's for sale, how many need to be sold? That's fine. Did you do the Ikigai homework? How to find your purpose in 90 seconds? What's the same in all those 4 quadrants? Did you make a list of 50 things? What were the top things? You do fucking know what it could be. You just don't want to do it. You need to do something. It doesn't matter what it is. It's not going to be that forever. You are 28 days into practice, and this homework is almost 20 days late. Don't do one more thing until you have something that you can stick all of this work to. You've done the last 20 days of ritual without being able to stick this practice to anything. That was not the direction. You have to pick at least something and do it, or nothing is going to stick, and you're going to stay stuck until you get angry enough to actually do it. Can you just please get yourself this angry right now? Can you please, as a manifester, simulate some anger about not moving forward, about showing up and moving your mouth and moving your body and praying and not getting anything? Can you please get angry about this now? This is pretty fucked up. But I guarantee you, there is something, you just don't want to do it. You're waiting for something that feels like it's going to be no work. You're going to work very, very hard forever, and you're going to love it. But no, 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 no. You get the hitch out of your giddy up right now. Uh, Guys, the app is working really bad. Yeah, we had a video glitch that we didn't know about, but you have to hit us up where we can get your support tickets. Support at mommyonami.com. We had a video glitch that we didn't know about because nobody reached out to the support email. There's like 100 chats, all different ones for all different work. You have to please get us at support at mommyonami.com, because the second that we figured it out, we updated it. Now we have the whole developer team right now working on fixing this app for you. But you have to tell us what the problem is. You can't say it doesn't flow and it's terrible. Can you please let us know what it means that it doesn't flow? And can you please tell us what you mean when you say it's terrible? Because I can't fix it not flowing and not terrible, especially if it's in the Q&A. But anything else I can fix. I hope everything can go back to normal because it's such a waste of energy. Yes, I agree with you. Usually it's working more than okay. But please hit us up at the right spot, because I really don't want you to have glitches. So we have, but currently, like on this day of this year, we have the whole developer team fixing the long form video. But as soon as we found out that there was a glitch with long form video, we offered an immediate workaround. And you can, like you specifically, if you can always use the browser version of the app. Like if your phone app is ever not working, email us right away. Let us know what's going on, not the feelings you have about it, but the fucking actual problem. And then safehouse.passion.io, you can always get it on the browser and it's always fine. If your app is not working and safehouse.passion.io is not working, then it's because their actual platform, like Instagram, like Passion.io, the whole thing that runs all of the different apps, none of those things, their whole system is down. So that's what that is. Okay, I'm going to answer just one more question and then I'm going to do this. This is exactly the question that I wanted to answer because I needed this for what I'm shooting today. So I don't think I have a large enough audience to sell to, and I'm confused if I should sell an individual workshop live or self-paced with Q&A. And I talked to you about this yesterday, or if I should do a deeper dive like a 3 to 6 months container and blend multiple strategies for deeper transformation. So this is definitely why you want to know how a sales funnel works, so you know when to wrap up one offer and start the next one. But when it comes to, you always have the right audience for the money that you need to make. So we did a 500K year on a 5,000 Instagram audience that was very like shadow banned, not bringing in any new customers. The newsletter list was only 2,000 people at that point, but we still did a 500K year. And that was not on, I think I sold $80,000 of one-on-one coaching that year, but that was it. The rest was coming from passive income. So you always have the right audience size, but you can't sell a $20 product to a 500 person audience, because even if everybody buys, you're not going to make that much money. You have to actually think about like, what pricing option do I need next? Do I need $5,000 a month? Okay, do I want to sell 10 $500 products? Do I want to sell one $5,000 product? Do I want to sell however many the different configurations are, and find the number that feels like, I think I could do this. I think I could sell five $1,000 products. And then you have to think about like, what would be for $1,000 a month? Like, what would just be impossible for somebody to say no to? Just make them an offer they can't refuse, and they won't refuse it. Pack so much value into it. Think about how you're going to solve that problem for them. And like, if for such a low price, like they have to be crazy not to buy it. Like, just keep adding the value until $1,000 is like, it's crazy. Why the hell would you not buy that? And it's not just about like adding more value, more of your time, but also really seeing your value as a person as well. And this is something that we work with in the ritual. So do you always have the right audience size, but you got to be really careful with low ticket. Don't spend all your time working on a book that you're going to sell for $20 to a 500 person audience, and don't delude yourself into thinking that you're going to get a publishing deal and that audience size won't matter, because publishers very much care. All right, you guys, that's a wrap for our Q&A today. I want to thank you all so much for being here on this day. Guys, thank you for telling me yeah, the app has been fine. Videos will freeze sometimes. Yeah, that's just new. Like, this is not something that we've ever had a issue with before. But that's why we backed up all the videos onto YouTube, and we will be until it's fixed. But thank you guys for telling me that. But this is like the larger theme of, and I've been telling you guys in Ritual, you have to articulate the problem. So like when for example, if I say I'm stuck on my book because it's just not flowing, she's saying, oh, well, the app just doesn't flow. What the fuck do you mean flow? What do you think that the book is not flowing on? My character's stuck at this specific junction. They don't know to do this or that. And people will let this not articulating the problem turn into this whole ass fucking writer's block and blah. There is no writer's block that self-discipline does not fix. There is no writer's block that self-discipline does not fix. You get in there and you put words on the page. I don't give a fuck what words they are. Write big white panties over and over again until you decide that you need to write something new, and then write something new. Go walk and run your mouth. Do not let those legs move and that mouth moves. Say what the problem is. My character can't decide between this or that. I need to know exactly what she do. Fine, start writing one way, and if it doesn't work, then write the other way, but fucking write. Get the words out and onto the page. There is no writer's block that self-discipline cannot fix. You are never stuck, but articulating the problem is key. And when you make it a universal thing, it isn't flowing. Bro, not one book has flowed out of my mouth. Every single book I've ever written has felt like this. I don't enjoy writing whatsoever, but I either write books or my life is out of alignment. So what? What am I going to do? Not do it? But you have to articulate the problem. And if you can do this, you will save so much money on coaches because you would go and pay a coach, hey, I just feel like my life is out of flow. And they're like, can you be a little bit more specific? Can you articulate the problem? And you're like, oh, yeah, well, it just turns out that like I really struggle with marketing. Can you be a little bit more specific? Yeah, when it comes to selling this exact product that I don't even like anymore and doesn't make me money, I just don't want to sell it. Problem solved. Only now you're about to say yes to a very expensive contract when the actual problem was solved because you just named the problem. And people get so scared about naming the problem. I just don't want to fuck my husband anymore. You don't want to fuck your husband anymore? Well, not when he wants to. Okay, and what's the problem with that? Well, I just feel like if I don't fuck him when he wants to do it, that he's going to leave me and find somebody else. And what's the problem with that? I'm super insecure in my marriage. Okay, now we can work on this. But articulating the problem, I just feel like we don't flow together. No, get real. Okay, it's time for me to go. I want to thank you all so much for being here. I will see you next week. Thank you. We'll back up this recording onto YouTube so you guys can hear it.